Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code PLANETPaintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
And welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast. I am with the Tennessee Volunteers College Club, and with me I have Ethan and Neil. Guys, why don't you introduce yourself? Ethan, you're first up.
Yeah, Hunter, thanks for having us. My name's Ethan Murray. I'm a senior biomedical engineering student at UT. I got into paintball, I'd say probably my sophomore year. I used to play college football. I had some season-ending injuries, so I couldn't play anymore. Was looking for that team dynamic, and the club had just been reinstated when I was starting to look, so that's how I found my home.
Nice. And Neil?
Like he said, thank you for having us. My name is Neil McGall. I am a architecture student at UT. I found the club back in 2018 when I first joined the college. I played for 2 years, kind of had some issues pop up, had me leave the college itself. But I came back, found myself back in the college, back in the paintball club again, and we're trying to grow it, trying to get to a team that can compete.
Nice. So how was what was the state of the club when you guys kind of came back into it?
So I'm currently in an advisor role. I'm the former president. Neil's just recently taken over within the past few weeks. The club was completely reinstated back in 2023. We had a member that's no longer with the program reinstated. I took over the program about a year later. We were averaging about 6 guys, and there was a good core original group of about 8 of us, including myself. Numbers when we started going to tournaments when I first took over would probably reach up to 15. We've always had people interested in the club. Knoxville's really good about giving us the opportunity from people in the local community. One of the main regions that we're kind of struggling with right now and have in the past is just the recruitment for college players, because we tend to get a little overshadowed with the hockey team that's here and the rugby team that's here.
Gotcha. So it sounds like it's gone up and down a little bit. How is it getting a club like that reinstated? Is that like a difficult thing? Is it a process?
So I wasn't a part of it when it was getting reinstated. And from my knowledge, we're really lucky to work with Tennessee Rec Sports, and they have an entire division just for sports clubs. We have an excellent advisor there by the name of Michael Porter. He's been with the program since Neil was first playing, but basically you just kind of fill up a form, and they kind of review it, see if it's something the club is able to support. And since our program was there in the past, they had no problem reinstating it.
Awesome. And what kind of support does the college provide for you guys? Because as we've talked about it's an expensive sport, especially for some college kids. So what kind of help do they provide?
So really, since we're just a sports club on the university, we don't get any athletic funding or anything like that, since paintball is not seen by the NCAA. We get about, do you want to check me on these numbers after I say them? I want to say we get now about $1,000 a semester, but that money doesn't roll over, so it's either used or it's not.
Good old government spending habits. Use it or lose it, huh?
Yeah.
Luckily, we do have a secondary account, so anything that we make stays with the club, and that does roll over. But the rec sports, like $1,000 that he mentioned, is like a startup money.
Okay. And do they allow you to like fundraise essentially?
Absolutely. They actually encourage it as much as possible. They try to give us as many opportunities to find support in local companies. They tell us where we can go to advertise for our club or any kind of fundraising that we're doing. They're very close and helpful with us.
Okay. So do you guys do fundraisers or do you go after sponsorships?
As of right now, we're not really looking for either. We're going to be looking for fundraisers in the future, but right now we're just trying to look for members and retention. We're essentially starting from the ground up, as a lot of our previous members have either graduated or their workload has kind of doubled with just progressing through the school year. So we're hanging flyers. We're trying to get on as many active elements on the internet to get our names around, try to get interest in the club. and joining members. We've actually increased our numbers quite a bit. We have 9 interested parties coming to our first meeting on Wednesday.
Nice. That's a good little number to add to what you guys have then, right?
Yeah, I think it helps us too. Before I stepped down from the presidency, I started working on getting us our own private practice field through the university. UT has so many branches of its main entity that we reached out to Ag Research. So we are one of 3 college teams in the nation that have their own private practice facility in field.
That's awesome. So are you guys building it out? Is it a plot of land? Take me through that a little bit.
So it's basically, we have about 3.2 acres right now. We can go up to about, I want to say 18. We have some woods, but we partnered with Battlelands USA, and there's a great guy there. His name's Sean Terry, and that was one of our first sponsors when we were starting to rebuild and everything. He provides us with bunkers and an air system that he has in a trailer, and we tend to hold events at that field every once in a while. So it kind of just allows us to have some eyes on it, but we can also tear it down. It's fully like mobile. And the only thing that's really permanent on the location is some netting that's faced towards a road. And then we have our own bunkers from a few years ago that were donated. So those stay on location, and we just kind of put those up and down. But we also have the wood. So if we ever wanted to develop that, we can go up to 18 acres of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of potential there for someone, for sure. What kind of events are you guys holding there?
So previously we had just local events where anybody that was invited could come, sign up, partake. Anything that somebody wanted to come in and shoot some paint, have a good time. It wasn't anything professional, although we did set up the bunkers in the design of the current NXL League's setup. So we try to make it as professional as possible while just being as comfortable as possible for any local players that wanted to come out and just shoot some paint.
Okay. So basically rec days though?
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you guys have rental equipment too, or is it
Sean
self-equipped?
brings what he has on hand, and anybody else just brings what they have.
Okay. Cool. So fun little day. Do you guys sell paint, or does Sean help you guys out with paint?
Sean helps us out with the paint.
Cool.
Sorry, now I spoke over you.
Now
That's on
you're-
me. Yeah, Sean brings paint. The truck that he has, he kind of brings 2 trailers out there, one for the bunkers and then one for the air system and paint. And with that setup, we can run pretty much all day. And we have water on location, so a cleanup's not bad after.
So how often do you guys do those rec days?
Previously, we did them roughly once a month, but we haven't done them in a while just because, like I said, all our members were graduating or their workload was being doubled, so they didn't really have the time for it. We're trying to get that back started up again. I'm currently working with Sean as we speak about getting a contract together to try to get those bunkers back out, get a team out there to set them up and have those events going. But it's just all a work in progress. He's a busy man, unfortunately.
Good for him, though.
Very much so.
So does he have a field close by, or does he just do like show up and do rentals at people's places?
So the weird thing about Knoxville is paintball was really popular there in the 90s. Once it started to die down, all the land got sold. So all these fields that you used to have are just completely gone. They've developed them over time. We got lucky because the university where they had their own land and they donated it because they weren't using it. We can set up a full tournament style X-ball field in Knoxville itself. I think it's just us. In Sevierville though, you have 2 kind of just like rec kind of event centers and kind of just like here's a shed, here's this, here's that. So in Knoxville itself, it's just us with an X-ball field. Sean has been trying to work for Sean's been working to try to get a field himself, but he owns a shop. Battlelands USA is in Strawberry Plains. So he kind of just brings all his stuff, and it's kind of like not a 50-50 split, but it's kind of Sean's also because he's helped us develop it.
Nice. Well, that kind of works. He has the material, you got the land, right? So what I'm hearing is if you are in Knoxville and you want to play a tournament, hit up the college page, paintball page. Don't hit up the actual college Instagram and find out about rec days at least. So that's neat that you guys have that opportunity to be the market, if you will, there. Got to find yourself a business major. Someone's going to take that and run with it.
Yeah, we're always looking for new members. Most of us are engineers, so we tend to build stuff at the field instead of doing the money aspect stuff. I've kind of taken over that role over the past and just kind of done it myself. But we're always looking for people that, even if they don't want to play and they want to do kind of the business aspect, or even like come quote unquote intern with us, we're always looking for either a social media coordinator and stuff like that. So
hey, paintball's a great place to get those interns in, because you can do a lot instead of living in the mailroom or whatever. So you said it got reinstated in 2023. Kind of as much as you can, take me through that history as far as playing. Like, what did you guys go and do at the time? Was the NCPL even around then? Or I can't remember when it came back.
So when it first got reinstated, NCPA was just getting off the ground too. It had kind of shut down a little bit. It was still there, but it was very much in the background than what it is right now. And when we first got reinstated, there was about 8 of us. So we always call them the original group or the OG group. We ended up playing a 3-man tournament, I would say probably 2 or 3 months after it got reinstated. I joined about a month later. I was the last one to join out of that original group. But we went to a 3-man event, got our butts kicked the entire time, had some highlights, had some low points, but just kind of saw that we all enjoyed it. We actually had a player, Thomas Green. He was Division 4 and was playing, so he couldn't play in the 3-man that we were playing, so he's coaching us a little bit more and everything. We tended to stick with 3-man events. That next fall, we played another 3-man event. I wasn't present, but we had 2 of the original group and then a player that we had picked up that played. Really, the main highlight that we had was our last event that we had played was our NXL event, or NGXL event. We went and played our first 5-man. A little bit before that, we had some guys that decided to go to the national championship. They ended up finishing 6th in the nation. But yeah, the most recent tournament that we played was that NGXL event. We actually did pretty well. It was a lot of us first 5-man event. We almost came out and swept the team, but we played them a little close. That was actually our first 5-man win out in the general public since, I want to say, the club was reinstated. So about 2019 was the last time we played a local event like that.
Okay. And Neil, why don't you tell us about the future events that you guys might be attending?
So the future events that we're looking at currently, we have one that we have our eyes on for, I believe it was in Tampa Bay Bucket Stadium on March 9th. There's a 5v5 and a 3v3 tournament out there. We're most likely going to play the 3v3, but we're trying to get a little bit extra for the 5 if at all possible. But we are definitely looking to go out there as soon as possible. The secondary event that we're looking at recently was the MSXL Mid-South X-Ball League in Shelbyville, Tennessee, happening March 28th to March 30th. If we can get a team to go out there, just add some more numbers, try to get more experience on the field, and just get people learning the field. You can only learn when you do it, really.
Yeah. So you guys have you guys reached out to any of the Tennessee pros in the area to see if they'd be willing to get involved with you?
We have some alumni that will message us that are really active. Porter Ramsey is one of them that really helps us out a whole lot. Once the club kind of shriveled out before 2023, we lost a lot of that contact information. So we're still gaining names and faces. One thing to counteract this that we've decided to implement is after each season that we go play, we're going to have a poster made of the current sponsors for that season and put old alumni names on there so that if the club, Lord forbid, went under again, they would have alum names and see sponsors so that they could have a better start than we did when it went under.
I like that idea. Being mindful of writing the history as it's happening, if you will. I like that. What has been the hardest thing about getting the club kind of back up and running again for you guys?
As far as that goes, I would say it's definitely retention. We're like we said, we're getting a lot of interested members, but once they see the price tag of the hobby, they start to get cold feet. So the main struggle is just trying to keep people interested and trying to show that it doesn't have to be as scary or expensive as you think it is. We're trying to help each individual player. If they can't afford the equipment themselves, we help provide it. If they don't think they have the experience, we help show them that they can learn, or it's okay to just go out there and get shot sometimes. You'll learn as you go.
Nice. So at the, oh my gosh, sorry, let that cut out. The Tampa Bay event is a Major League Paintball event, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Ethan, you found that one, right?
Yeah, I believe it's an NXL event. I'm not very sure that it's going to be held inside the stadium, maybe right outside of it. We're looking more towards, granted, financial wise is mostly what's driving us to either do a 3-man or a 5-man. We're even open to going play in the open 5-man, even though we would probably get our butts kicked by a bunch of people that are just there to have fun. But we're always looking for financial sponsors. We're really blessed for the sponsors that we have right now and the ones that are wanting to work with us. But at the end of the day, we're a bunch of broke college kids that are just trying to play some paintball. And at the end of the day, it's pretty expensive.
Gotcha. So they aren't running like a college 3-man division or anything.
From my understanding, that's a no. NCPA is very particular on what they can go in. Kevin Fillers is actually an alumni with us, and he's the CFO of NXL. So he gives us some information on if they're going to have those events or not. To my understanding, NCPA is looking at hosting nationals as their next event.
Okay, nice. So are you guys going to try and make nationals? Do you know when that'll be?
It's a dream for us to try to make nationals again. Although I think as we currently are, it is more of a pipe dream. I would prefer to get smaller tournaments done, get more experience on the players, if at all possible, and try to build a core team that's willing to learn, train, get better before we go to those kind of links just quite yet.
Okay. So what sponsors are you guys do you guys have right now?
Yeah, I'll jump in and grab this one. So right now we're doing more local sponsors. Main sponsor right now is Ruthless. We just switched over from Max to them. We're really pleased with their products, and John has worked really close with us. We have Battlelands USA, and they supply all the stuff we need for those field events. And then UT Ag Research, which provides us the land for the field. We also have, let me get off the top of my head. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
And then UT Rec Sports. So really right now we're just rocking mainly 4. We're always open to working with more sponsors, but once again, we're broke college kids. Facebook Marketplace works wonders. So
yeah. Can like local guys come and do a event with you guys, or because you're a college team, even if it's not for the college league, can they play? Can they like add to your numbers if you guys wanted to do a MXL or something?
From what we've done in the past, we haven't done it just because when we tend to travel, we have to say who's traveling with us. We're always open for people to come. Mainly, we try to push them towards practice just because that's our field. We kind of make the rules there. And just liability wise, we haven't done in the past. But if that's something they wanted to see in the future, I'm sure we could.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there were rules with the finances or anything like that would prevent someone, or if it's something the club was even interested in. So what are you guys doing to kind of get the word out on campus?
We're hanging flyers. We're all over Instagram. We're trying to get into every avenue of where the community is for the college. If we have to go out and set up a bench on Head Walkway, which is our main access of the college itself, we're out there doing that. Just trying to get ourselves in their eyes physically rather than any sort of byproduct of just word of mouth.
Gotcha. So just trying to get in front of people essentially and let them know.
As much as possible anyway.
So do you guys have like a club day there that you go and set up a bench for?
Yeah, we tend to have those every fall semester and spring semester. However, those are normally freshman required events, so they'll show up, get what they need, and leave. The last one that we held last fall, we had like 175 people interested, and we ended up retaining 2. So people love to think of the idea of playing and everything, and then once we start laying down like, hey, this is some financial stuff, and we only require them to get the jersey. We have enough extra gear that we don't make them buy it right away.
Okay, that's nice.
But luckily, Head Walkway goes right through the center of campus. It goes from the hill, which is where all your STEM majors are going to be, and it goes all the way down to the other side of campus, all the way down to the veterinary hospital. We tend to just set up there. We will stay there for a couple hours. It allows us to get some eyes on us, and we normally hang up flyers and stuff to say when we're going to do it. But other than that, that's how we're mainly trying to get people.
Gotcha. So you mentioned you guys have a meeting coming up like this week, right?
Yes, sir. This Wednesday from 5 to 7, that's going to be our usual practice time. But this first one's just going to be a physical meeting so we can get everybody situated with each other, understand who's who, get names across. And if we have a little bit of time, maybe just spray some paint.
Nice. So are you guys doing Wednesday practice every Wednesday, 5 to 7?
Unless the members can't make it, yes.
Okay.
Wednesday, and for anyone that can't make the Wednesday, Saturday.
Okay, so Wednesdays
time.
and Saturdays, 5 to 7. Some notes here. All right. But if someone like hears this later and they decide they want to come on out, they can just message the page, and you guys will probably be out there Wednesday or Saturday, 5 to 7 then?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
As things go, I would like to get outside opportunists into the field, even if not just to play with us, just to help coach the team.
Mm-hmm.
Give out some pointers if they can. Just play with us on our practice days. I would be more than thankful for that. As far as teams go for tournaments, when I was playing back in 2018, we did have some A, alumni, and B, some external players just play for UT's name.
Uh-huh.
It's not really a requirement that they're a part of the school. That just goes for finances. They can still play with the team as long as they pay their own share.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's an option for local guys, except for the college league, right? All the players for the college league have to be current students, correct? Okay. So what does Wednesday and Saturday practice look like? Like, take me through that.
As of right now, it's drills for the first hour, and then the second hour, just heads up, paint, snap shooting, trying to get instincts and muscle memory down. And then probably the other day, whichever one we choose, will just be a micro play day. So we have enough bunkers for a 3v3s, and we can just set it up as a rec day to get actual play time instead of just training drills all day.
Gotcha. That's cool. So those are out at the rec land that you guys got from the agriculture school or department? Okay. How far is that from main campus?
15
Right.
minutes.
Like a 15-minute drive?
Yes, sir.
That's not bad. That's really good. I used to drive at least an hour to go to practice, so 15 minutes is nothing. Do you guys do anything else, like as a club? Like, do you guys do club hangouts or anything?
In the past,
You go ahead, Ethan. I'm so sorry.
you're good. I'm going to give it a second so you can cut it out. In the past, we've kind of had more tight-knit groups of individuals with each other. So like you would have like the friend groups within the friend group. So like a bunch of us would go to eat. We would hold major meetings and stuff, and then we would kind of split off from there. I mean, everyone on the team for the most part is friends. We all hang out with each other. Just some of us tend to split off and everything. We're lucky this year. We have a partnership more than a sponsorship with the chemistry department foreman. So we have a full shop at our disposal for anything that we end up breaking or end up needing. That entails also having an office space. So we have our own kind of meeting area that we can use. We just have to get approval before, but we basically have what we call the clubhouse. So we hang up those posters that were mentioned earlier. We also had a recent guy that's an alumni in the art department for UT. He just made us a 16 by 20 canvas painting of the first field day event that we ever held. So that will be hanging up there too.
Oh, that's awesome. That'll hopefully draw some eyes and spark some attention for you guys. So when does the semester end, and what happens to the club during the summer? Is there enough of you guys like hanging around, or does it go dormant for the summer and then come back in the fall?
So the summer is usually when we try to get our main events done, or as much as possible anyway, because that's when everybody's out of school, they have more time on their hands. So we try to keep the interaction as much as possible during that downtime. However, some things happen. Some people go back home if they live in another state. So it's not always 100%, but
Gotcha. So does UT have a lot of out-of-state guys, or is it mostly in-state as far as the school
From the
goes?
original group of us, the original 8 of us, I want to say that 3 or 4 of us were from Tennessee. Our snake player was from Florida. We had one from the Carolinas, one more towards the Georgia line. We tend to get more out-of-state guys than we do in-state. The main dynamic type of guy that we get is all the engineers. I guess they just like to come and tinker with the markers and everything.
It's something about paintball seems to attract engineers. I don't know. It's got to be the markers. So okay. So you made the switch from Max to Ruthless, and you're happy with oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now. But what's the guy who runs Ruthless's name?
That'd be John.
John, yeah.
That was one of the last few things that I did before I stepped into more of this advisor role. We were pleased with Max. We had a good working relationship with Max. We just figured it was time for a change. We had 2 designs with Max. We're actually going to go to 5 designs. We found a loophole. There's a rule that you can wear any jersey you want, any colorway, as long as it represents your team. Our goal is to have 5 guys with 5 different jerseys out there for NCPA events. So we have 3 that are currently being worked on right now, and then our 2 that we just recently pushed out to the public are orange and white designs. Our white one takes some homage from the baseball team, and the orange one is one that we designed ourselves. The logo actually features the Tennessee Rifleman with a paintball marker in its hand.
Okay, nice. And are those going to be available on the Ruthless website if just a Tennessee fan wants to go and grab one?
So legally, we can't just allow our supplier to supply the general public. We can do kind of like that financially donation type thing. So like if they want one, they would have to message us through us. And the university is very particular of what they allow out in the general public and what they don't. We've had some sponsorships that have fallen through for like hats and beanies and stuff like that. So I would say probably more than likely if they want a jersey, we can get one to them. They would just have to message us. The best way to get in contact with us if they don't want to go through social media is paintball@utk.edu. We just recently got that set up. So it's a actual UT email. So it goes directly to us. We're all able to see it. We also recently started working with BSN Sports, which is basically a screen and design t-shirt hoodie company that works with all the sports clubs. So we actually do have a design that has been internally accepted and a bunch of the guys have for t-shirts. So if people are looking for hoodies or t-shirts, they could also message us for that. We can get them hooked up.
Okay. So they can support the team and the university at the same time. That's cool.
Exactly.
And then if they want a jersey, just message you guys and can try and make it happen for them?
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying not to go too public with these new 3. They're definitely external colorways that we haven't used in the past. Just to kind of give everyone a glimpse, we're going to go with the Summit Blue one, just to pay homage. The hockey team recently did that, and they saw some really good numbers from the fans and everything. We're also going to be doing the Smoky Gray. That design hasn't been fully done yet. The last one, we're kind of on the fence about it, of what we're going to put on it. Actually, we're going to be doing a black jersey. In 2011, when they ended up winning the national championship, which was our last national championship win, that was the jersey that they were wearing for most of the tournament. Those jerseys have been going for like $400+. All the alumni tend to keep them, so we're trying to give it a modern spin.
Nice. I'm looking at your orange ones right now. They're pretty nice. They're bright. They're very bright, but they're so you guys have, if someone's interested, all they got to do is join the club at Jersey, and you guys have setups that they can use. Mask, tank, copper, marker, the whole 9 yard.
Yeah, we got lucky enough when the original 8 of us, we started purchasing stuff like it was hot quantities. We got as much as we could, as quick as we could, because we were so in love with it. Thomas Green, that was mentioned earlier, has stepped away from the club just due to schooling and everything. So he's donated a bunch of his soft goods. So those are available for people to use. Neil has more exact numbers than I do, but we have several JT masks, and we have a marker that we bought for the club. And then the guys that have been there for a while have their own markers. We're always looking for new markers for cheap, because that's one of the hardest things for us to find.
Okay. So if you're local and you want to get rid of your stuff on cheap and help a good cause, hit up the Instagram page. Are you guys allowed to use your donated funds for that stuff, or is there restrictions on that?
We are allowed.
Neil,
So
why
we
don't you
are
go?
allowed.
Neil, why don't you take it?
So we are allowed to use the funds for that. Like we said, it's not something that can roll over, so it needs to get used as soon as possible. We are currently trying to save up for a enclosed trailer to put our bunkers in so we can kind of keep them in a better condition. So at the moment, we don't really have the spare funds for it, but in future years, it is something that we can delve more resources to. Yes.
Yeah, I got to get those bunkers out of the element. It makes them last significantly longer than just sitting there. That's for sure.
Yeah, the only bad thing, to build off what Neil said, the only bad thing about the $1,000 that we're given is it's university property. So if you use it, it stays university property. So let's say a guy wants their own marker and we use those funds, that guy can't ever have that marker. So we tend to try to push them to buying their own stuff instead of the university, because we've had a guy or two in the past that has used some university funds, had their gun completely anodized the way they want, and then it stayed with the club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a bummer. Yeah, the university come looking for that stuff, I imagine, sooner or later. So what do you guys have to do to continue to stay a club? Like, is there a yearly, I don't know, re-up process?
So for the most part, we just have to show consistency with the club, show that we have members. Since we have a field, we have to pay for that yearly as well. As long as we just show rec sports that we exist, pretty much, they allow us to continue.
Okay. And I know in the past with some colleges, you had to have a faculty advisor. Is that the case still?
Yeah, it's still the case. I just recently figured out that we don't technically have one. Michael, that runs all those sports club operations, is technically our advisor.
Okay.
So we get through that loophole, but we also have the chemistry shop foreman on hand. So if we absolutely had to have an advisor, he could just fill that role for us.
Okay. So yes and no. So does the chemistry shop foreman supervisor, does he play?
Yeah, Matt's been playing since he's been 15.
Okay.
So Matt was telling us all the old stories about his mechs that he had and his autocockers and everything. He comes out there and plays pretty much every event that we hold. The only requirement we have to use that spot that he gives us for meetings and to be able to use the shop is we got to keep him updated, and we just tell him what we need and he'll build it for us.
That's awesome. So do you guys like tailgate as a team or anything like that? Like for the football games, will you guys set up your own little like paintball tailgate?
In the past, we have like met up as small groups, how we had done before. So like 2 or 3 of us would go. A bunch of the guys don't actually like going to the football games, which I found surprising. Coming from a college football background, That's kind of like my thing. I got to go watch games in Neyland. I think Neil's definitely pushing us to be more of a family aspect instead of a team aspect. And Neil does really good about making us meet with each other, and we all kind of have that sibling mentality that, hey, that's my brother right there. So
it's awesome. Good job, Neil. Got to build the community. So were you playing, or Ethan, were you playing football for Tennessee when you got hurt?
I was not.
Okay.
I was not. I was 30 minutes away at Maryville College. I'm pretty injury prone. I've had 2 major surgeries before I turned 21, and I've broken 3 bones in a row for 3 years. I broke my wrist pretty severely my freshman year of college, and I tore the ligament in my thumb. So I almost lost full mobility in my thumb. So I figured it was time to hang up. My other severe injury that I had is I broke my leg at a 90-degree angle in high school. So my left ankle, from my left ankle down, is completely rebuilt.
Wow, you put the body through it already, didn't you?
Yeah, I absolutely did. It's definitely not fun when it rains here or snows, because I can feel every single thing move in my body.
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine who played at Newberry, and he has some gnarly surgery scars before he had to call it quits. So sorry you had to go through that, but glad you found paintball, I guess, after the fact.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less physically demanding, even though some people argue about that. I haven't broken any bones yet, knock on wood. So
yeah, I think I've only seen one broken bone in my whole paintball career, at least in person. Can't recall, honestly, ever hearing about someone breaking a bone on the field besides that one. And it was a dive that he like landed in. Two. So one arm break, like at the where it meets the hand, that joint, whatever that's called. And then someone slid into a bunker, hit a divot, and torqued their leg enough for it to break. So, but that's out of 25 plus years of being in the sport. Yeah. Keeps you guys coming back to paintball. What drew you in?
I would say probably the team atmosphere of it. Just coming from past sports experience and everything, I've always just loved that team atmosphere. The guys become your brothers more than they do your teammates. I keep in touch with a bunch of the old alumni that I first began playing with, as well as some of the ones that are no longer with the program just because they couldn't be there anymore. We've definitely pushed stronger towards being more of a family aspect with team chemistry. I think that helps us result in some of the close tournament wins that we've had. So I'd say probably the main thing that keeps me coming back is just constantly building on my experience with a bunch of the guys.
As far as I go, I keep coming back for the competitive aspect. I come from a background where I tried a lot of sports going through middle and high school. I tried soccer, I tried baseball, I tried track and field, and all of them were nice, but they all gave me a weird feeling like this isn't quite it. Then when I joined college, I went to the freshman club gathering where they have it every semester, and paintball was there. And I thought, I have played this at a couple birthday parties. I'd like to get in on it. And when I joined up, it was brutal, but it was rewarding once you finally figured out I can make it to this bunker a little bit faster. I can bunker this guy down the field if I just play it patiently. It's always a learning aspect that I just love, getting more and more tips and tricks in the field and building my experience with the sport itself. That's what drives me, really.
Awesome. What's your favorite paintball memory so far? And we'll start with Ethan and then go to Neil.
I would say probably my favorite one was definitely the first tournament that I had gone to. I had only played at like birthday parties and everything. I have two favorite memories from that tournament. The first one is before we even got there. I didn't realize you couldn't bring your own paint. So I brought a box of paint to the tournament, and I got yelled at by a bunch of the guys that had already been a part of the team. So I thought that was funny. But that tournament on the last game, we got our butts kicked the entire day. I ended up actually bunkering, and I actually still have the photos. I bunkered the guy, and we ended up sweeping that team for the last point. We lost by 1 point for that, but it was just rewarding to be able to win a point on the very last game of the very last day with a bunch of guys that I'd never met before. And I think that's kind of what started my drive to be a part of the team with a bunch of the guys.
That's awesome. That's a good memory, man. I like those.
So for mine, it was back in 2019. We played in an NCPA college national championship. We were a part of the AA division, but the single A was playing later, and they were actually televising that. Well, since AA was already there, they decided they televised the first couple of points of those. So our team actually got to play 3 points on television. And for the first 2 points, at least, we won both points, myself getting 2+ kills each point.
Nice.
And it was just a great feeling, actually being able to play well and play for an audience. It was a crazy time.
That's awesome. Do you remember what channel that aired on?
So I actually have the YouTube channel NCPA Paintball. That is pretty much the only thing. I just have the video saved because I go back and watch it every now and again.
Put that in the link. If you can find one and send it to me, that'd be awesome.
Will do, sir.
What gear are you guys rocking outside of Ruthless? What's your chosen marker?
So I run a shocker. No, you go first. You go first.
Every time. So I also run a shocker, and before that I had a G-Tech war that I had used for a couple of years, had the trigger down to where I wanted it, specifically had it tuned perfectly, and then I had an idea to just go with a shocker, and I've been using that ever since. It's been beautiful for me.
Okay. Ethan?
So when we first got in it, when I first joined, we were kind of pushed towards shocker. We had a guy that could anodize for us. So my ano that I have on there is basically a 101 because I've done the exact colorway for UT, and they got it pretty similar tone and everything, which is hard to replicate. I rock a push mask. I just like the field of view on it. I've never had a problem with any of the lenses or anything. My most prized piece of equipment that I run is my cleats. They're actually the cleats that I broke my ankle in my junior year, and I'm very superstitious, and I haven't changed my cleats all the way through. So I've had them for 3 seasons of football, and now 2 pushing 3 seasons of paintball.
That's a long time for cleats, man. How many more years you think they got on them?
I don't know. They're pretty good quality. I'd have to look at what they're called. They're like they're Nikes, so they've lasted a long time. They're also really light, so I don't even feel like I'm wearing shoes when I have them on.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I guess what's that saying? Buy once, cry once, or buy cheap, cry multiple times, or something like that. Well, that rolls right into one of the questions I like asking about superstition. So, Neil, you got any superstitions before you go onto the field for competition?
Shockingly, I do not. I am usually pretty superstitious about a couple of things, but when it comes to sports, it's just lay it all on the field. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Usually it's just up to me.
All right, nice. So what mask are you rocking, Neil?
I recently had my mask break at a hit an event, so I actually have to get a new one, but I am looking at forget what they're called. Sean was giving me suggestions, and one of them I went with was excuse me, I think it was the pushes as well. Ethan, you'll have to correct me on the name. I'm horrific with names. I apologize. But I believe it was those, and then a flex bottom on that, because it really sucks to my face. I have a very small face, so I'm pretty particular about masks.
Hey, the push is a great one for that with the adjustable nose piece. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't bought yet, to look at the push at least. So they're a great mask. There's a lot of good masks out there, though. You just got to find one that works for you. All right. Well, we're about at an hour, boys. Anything else I need to know about the club or paintball in Tennessee in general?
I would just say that we're definitely a great team dynamic. For anyone in the Knoxville area that wants to come play paintball, we're always open. Just message us on any of our social medias. All of them are vault_paintball. So make it easy for them. Or email at paintball@utk.edu. We just want people to come out and play with us. We're tired of having low numbers. We're tired of not having anything to do. We have all the gear that someone would need if they're a student and they want to come play with us. We just want to sling some paint. So anyone interested, please message us.
Awesome. And Neil, let's have you shout out the sponsors one more time.
So our sponsors are Ruthless. We have Rec Sports. We have Battlelands USA here in Knoxville. And we have, remember that last one? Ethan, what was it?
The last one is our field sponsor at UT Ag Research. Very blessed to have that 3.2 acres of land that can expand up to 18.
Yeah, that's an awesome opportunity. So I hope you guys get to take advantage of it at some point, for sure. And if there's any business majors listening to this at UT, you need to hook up with the paintball team. There's opportunity there. Well, guys, that'll be a wrap. Just hang out for a second, let it all upload. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code PlanetPaintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball podcast